we've got something a little bit unconventional for this evening. It's called Unscripted and Unfiltered. Ask the Diamantaire anything. And so I've been told this has rarely been done before. We have a jeweler and a diamond dealer, a Diamantaire, who are willing to take any questions you might have. So please welcome Ayelet Lerner, who is the CEO of Lerner Diamonds based in Antwerp, and Chris Zöttl from Munich of the company Designer Diamonds. Welcome to both of you on stage.
Thank you.
The format or the idea was that people in the audience, they don't have a presentation. Any questions you have about diamonds, I think they can ask them, right?
Absolutely.
That's good.
So who wants... Perfect. It's just diamonds.
Diamonds and jewelry.
Diamonds and jewelry,
Yes,
actually.
diamonds and jewelry.
I also do FC Bayern.
Or beer,
Not
or
with
Munich.
beer. Yeah, so
If you need restaurant addresses for tonight.
exactly. So
Yeah.
beer, I can do FC Bayern, I can do BMW. You know, if it's that, then go ahead.
Not gemstones. Fancy colored maybe, but although gemstones, you sell mostly diamonds, right?
But do gemstones.
Yeah. Yeah. You want to ask a question?
Thanks, Chris.
Hi. My question is, oder sollen wir auf
Deutsch, Englisch, Bayerisch. Yeah.
So, let's do with English. My question is for the future.
Can you put the microphone a little?
Sorry, for the future, what in your advice would be an investment stone for the future? I mean, Paraiba obviously has been there, but it's too expensive. Spinala has also got expensive. Obviously, the Mandarin Granate and Taverites and all those stones have gone up like really a lot in the last few years. But is there anything coming that would be for the future interesting as an investment stone?
So if I understood, the audio is a little low. Yeah. But if I understood the question correctly, which colored gemstone is a good investment for the future, or? Yeah. Okay. So when a customer approaches me to do an investment grade gemstone, doesn't matter if this is diamond or a colored gemstone, I always check what do they want? What do they want to achieve? Do they want to park money? Do they want to have appreciation? Do they want to have something that they just have laying around for 10 years and then give it to the silver anniversary to their wife or something like that? So it really depends on what the situation is. Yeah, I couldn't tell you right now which gemstone I would invest in today will have 1,000% appreciation next 10 years. Yeah, if I would do that, I would be working in a different field of expertise, if you put it that way. But I think to make the answer simple, if you look at the big three, sapphire, ruby, emerald, you still have probably the best bet because it's the most well-known and can be traded back at a certain level easier than maybe a Paraiba or something like that.
But maybe we can continue that question in another direction. If we look at the past decades in the diamond trade, some jewelers have dared call them investment diamonds. I think investment is quite a taboo word because what happens when the customer comes back 2 years later and wants to resell that diamond? So my question would be, how do you deal with this idea of investment or not losing money, be it at a diamond dealer level or at a jewelry retail level? When somebody says, I really want to buy this investment grade thing, what does it mean? And how do you address this topic?
I will take it more on the diamond side. So in terms of diamonds as an investment, what I've always said to people is that if you think about diamonds as an investment, you really need to think about it on a long term. It's really not something... It's like if you're investing in some of the stock market things, there are things that you can turn around within a year or two, and there are things that you really need to look at more long term. And for diamonds and investment, you really have to look at it that way, yeah. And close your eyes for the middle part because it's a fluctuating market. So diamonds can go down. Right now, we're in a depressed, fairly depressed diamond market, but that doesn't mean it's going to stay that way. So that's how I personally deal with investment, diamond investments.
Okay.
Yeah.
So to add on to that, I approach it the same way, but where I be very clear to everyone, and we have this problem in most European countries, sales tax, right? So in Germany, it's roughly 20%. So that means if I sell you the diamond today, even if I just make $1 profit on it, it has to appreciate at least 20% for even you to break even, if you put it that way. And that, of course, in most investment in the market situations is a little tough to do. So if someone really comes for an investment gemstone or diamond, what I tell them flat out is if you buy it today, it's like the BMW drive off the lot. Yeah, tomorrow it's going to be worth 20 to 30% less. Yeah. So you have to see it as maybe in 10, 20, 30 years, it will be worth more if all works out. But don't count on it buying it today and selling it in 6 months like you can do with gold. And make
personally,
a profit
I would recommend fancy color. And beyond that, I would also recommend having a very knowledgeable diamond buyer to do the investment for you. Because as we know, and it came up today, certificates are will not necessarily reflect a diamond's beauty. So you have to know what you're doing, especially if it's for an investment purpose. Yeah.
And there are examples of like colorless diamonds over 100 carat that have come back to sale at auction and actually resell for less than they first sold. So I think that is also information that's out there in the public record. So one needs to be very careful with these things.
Yes. Yeah, and I think that's also probably part of the reason why investment diamonds didn't really take off as a concept. I mean, if you look at, it had the potential to, but it's not something that really took off as a sort of widespread concept.
Well, and it's not as liquid or a commodity like gold.
Exactly.
Every day you can track the price.
Not an easy investment.
Exactly.
Sell it very easily.
Yeah.
So you have to do it in a very controlled environment to also resell this diamond.
Thank you very much. So I have a question. I think we are talking about investment of diamonds, and I think the recent price drop. The market consider one reason is probably depressed market. Another reason is probably the large, vast amount of lab-grown.
Correct.
That enters market. So what's your thought? Because it doesn't look like it's going to reverse in any way, right? Lab-grown is going to be there anyways. So in that case, what do you see diamond industry in general, including lab-grown, moving forward? Is that at some point going to be replacing, let's say, the beautiful Swarovski crystal for using a different level of different jewelries? What's your thoughts?
So if I look at it from a retail perspective, one thing the lab-grown diamond industry did very well was market them as a sexy product. Yeah, and they marketed them very differentiated to a Swarovski crystal. So here you do have the feeling that most consumers are, and depending on which lab you talk to, is they're buying a diamond. Now, of course, the origin is different, but at the end of the day, they have the feeling they're buying a diamond. And so
for the moment.
We had a very hot discussion today about these things.
We're not on the same page with this topic, but that's why I'm giving Chris the stage.
We promise we'll still be friends after
exactly.
this. Yeah, so all good there. But basically, when we talked about this too, when the customer comes to me and he's asking for a lab-grown diamond, they're very much already on the mindset to buy it. Yeah, so we're not going to get them away from that. Where it will get interesting is, if you have people who are spending a certain amount, 20, 30, 40, 50, 100K, whatever, for them, lab-grown is not very interesting. So someone who's looking for a 3-carat center and the side diamonds and everything for under 10K, they'll be happy in that market. But if you're like some guy who makes an amount of money, you're buying a beautiful engagement ring, and you're like, oh, I can spend 5K on this and I can spend 38K, but I was trying to spend 40K. Usually you don't go for the 5K. You will stick more to the budget range you propose to her or want to propose to her for, put it that way. I hope that kind of answered it.
Yeah, it helps a lot.
Okay.
My opinion, there's a lot of reasons why the lab-grown is taking off the way that it is. First of all, people want it. I think a lot of the retailers are also quite motivated by lab-grown because it's very easy. You have a nice markup, and it's quite easy also to get. There's no headache. When it comes to natural diamonds, it's not a supermarket. You have to have someone that you trust. You have to go in the diamond market. You have to get what's available. So it's not the same system. And I get why also for retailers, it's just much easier to do. So for the moment, this is really what's happening, and that's a big part of the reason that natural diamond prices have gone down. It's just a simple, demand, offer, and the demand has just gone down drastically. My personal belief is that it will shift. I still think there will be tremendous demand for lab-grown, but I think that natural diamonds will make a comeback, very much so. The million-dollar question is when. That's all.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I have another follow-up question back to the liquidation of investment earlier where you were talking about. So obviously, why diamond didn't make it to liquid like a gold for many different reasons. But with lab-grown and with the future, let's say, market of diamond in general, do you see a possibility of diamond got more, standard way of being invested in?
Personally, I don't see it.
You don't see it?
No, I don't see that. And I think because gold is objective. It's gold. It's 14 karat, 18 karat, 20. It's very
There's one gold.
Objective,
Yeah.
and diamonds will always be subjective. Beauty is in the eyes of the beholder, and diamonds are a subjective product that will always have variations based on a lot of different factors.
Yeah, just to make gold easy, you have 9 karat, 18 karat, 14 karat, whatever karat gold. Just melt it, you get pure gold. You sell it, you get money. It's an easy process. It's not that easy in diamonds. That's why all these diamond coins, diamond tokens, what were offered in the past at different kind of, I think in Singapore was the last time they did the diamond token or something like that. Yeah, failed miserably if you put it that way. Yeah, it's just nothing you can commodify like gold and sell it in an investment purpose.
Thank you.
I have a follow-up question on that. From both your perspectives, are clients becoming more educated or more confused about
It's a great
the whole
question.
lab and versus natural? Because I can imagine there's a lot of different stories.
Great question. For me, with no clear answer, I think Chris will tackle that one better than me, but I have to say, I think both. I think people think that they're educated, but actually they're more clueless than they ever were, because if you just look at, the concept of lab-grown being the green, the green ecological option, this is just something that people fell right into. Or even in natural diamonds, if you look at the blood diamond, and buying a lab-grown versus buying a natural because of the blood diamond idea, I mean, natural diamonds are still supporting communities in Africa. I mean, that's a real thing. So of course, you have tremendous amount of access to information, but I think it's confusing people very much. The biggest misconception, I probably would have to say, is lab-grown as an ecological product. Yeah.
That's pretty much a good point. If you come to the biggest misconception that most come in and say in retail, hey, I want a lab diamond because it's much greener, better, nicer, more butterflies, whatever you want to talk about. Yeah. So I can't really add on more to that, but yeah, it's.
I think that Chris is my customer for many years, so it's a very unusual format for us to be standing here together. But I luckily got to sit in on one of his appointments today, and I saw that you really have to listen to people. You really have to listen because they not by what they read on the internet, but by the things that they're saying. They say some things that really. They know what they want, even if they don't know what they... there are things that people are saying that they're telling you what they want, even when it's men and they don't really know what they're doing and they're getting engaged, but they're giving a lot of little pieces of information. And I think that when you listen to people, there's a lot there.
Or when you, maybe this is a short example, very quick. I entered an AI, one of the AI programs. I said, give me the difference between lab-grown and natural and make it short and give me a buying recommendation. And the answer was, it's both the same, buy lab-grown. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
So.
Even AI is against us.
So, but that's a problem in general because, and I catch myself too. We rely immensely on AI every day more and more, and if that's the standard answer. Yeah, and it's going to be the answer in all the areas, like should I buy my wife this or this for Christmas? Yeah, or whatever. Yeah, but seeing those answers coming from AI, and that's usually where the people stop them because they're like, okay, AI told me it's the same, so I might as well save the money and buy lab. Hope that was perfect.
To follow up on that, we had a really interesting presentation this afternoon by a marketing professor. And she said that what she had observed, she's not in the jewelry space with lab grown and naturals, is that because the natural diamond industry has pushed so hard to say synthetic or lab grown diamonds are a commodity, they're not rare, that they're actually shooting themselves in the foot. It's backfiring on natural diamonds because the customer, from a customer psychology standpoint, she's just a marketing expert, it's sounding like diamonds are a commodity. And I wonder, I mean, I'm not for or against anything, but I wonder if you have any experience from that, if people, because that message is being hammered home so much in certain spheres, is that trickling down to the end consumer? Is there a risk that by bashing synthetic diamonds that it kind of backfires?
That reverse psychology thing, well, it certainly looks like that's what's happening. And I think the natural diamond industry really didn't have the unity in terms of really having a representative, like De Beers, we didn't have that natural diamond representation to really market it properly or to counter it. So we just kind of tried to destroy it as the natural diamond industry. Didn't work. But what I can only say is from my own personal experience as a diamantaire, it's immensely frustrating as a diamond buyer to consider lab as a legitimate product. I know people want it, and I get it, but as a feeling, it's something completely different. It looks exactly the same. Don't ask, you can't, literally, you can't tell the difference. And yet the feeling is completely different. So I think the natural diamond industry basically had the reaction of, it's terrible, don't get it, it's fake, it's this, it's that. That was kind of an instinctive reaction, and we never really rectified that properly. But the feeling of dealing with lab as opposed to natural is something completely different.
But what do you answer if somebody asks you, is a natural diamond rare? What do you answer?
Yes.
Yes?
Absolutely.
But there are so many of them here at the show. Where does it become rare? What is rarity?
This is a ring that I got from my grandmother who passed away, and this is a ring I got when my daughter was born from her father. I wear this because it means something to me, and it's natural. And with all due respect to our industry, there are too many men talking about diamonds, natural diamonds, lab. This is about feeling. This is about which piece you choose to put on when you leave the house because it means something to you. And that's something that men cannot really connect to. Chris? Still friends, right?
Yeah, we're getting borderline, but
we have some women in the audience. Maybe you can share feelings or insights, or I don't know if somebody has a personal...
Well, who's here from the retail space? Anyone? Okay. And do you sell lab-grown diamonds or natural diamonds? Both? No? No? Both? No? Oh, okay. So I think at the end of the day, how do you define rare, right?
Sorry, you want a provocative question,
yeah.
so I'm just, it's really hard, everybody's going to have a different definition.
Yeah. Sure.
So, but I think it kind of comes down to how do you define rare? Do you define it over numbers? Because the big mining companies take out, millions of carats per year? Yeah. So is that rare or not? Probably a Ferrari will be rarer than a diamond in that sense. But it's nothing you can go to a general store or to a 24-hour store and you can buy in that sense. And then again, if you go to a restaurant, well, there are fast food places, they're considered restaurants, and there are high-end restaurants. And they both are restaurants, but the products they serve and the products they give you and the quality they give you are different. So it's a little. So when they ask me to be blunt, is a diamond rare? The ones I sell you, definitely, because I only can pick the nicest ones, and that's a very small percent of the whole market.
Any other comments or insights? Well, I guess I'll continue. You know, people talk about the 4 C's, but what's important in addition to the 4 C's? What would you say to your customers?
Life. Life is not a 4C, and with a diamond, everything is about sparkle. And a diamond can get a XXX, and it can get, you know, just the perfect paper, but if it doesn't have that full sparkle, then it's not a XXX in my eyes. So I think that, again, it comes back to being able to see the difference.
So I always open up with, well, there's actually a 5th and a 6th C. The 5th C is credit card. The 6th C is Chris, right? So when it comes to that, and then, but I always, when I finish choking, I say the most important factor, and this is what no diamond certificate writes on there, is beauty. Yeah, you can have if you say 1 carat FEVS, and that's all the information you have. Like most people come into your shops and say, well, then I ask them, well, are you looking for because I'm in Munich, are you looking for the new BMW M5 that fits that prescription, or are you looking for the 30-year-old banged up old car? Because if I say I just want a blue car with 200 horsepowers and leather interior, it can be both. Yeah. So the beauty factor is probably the most important, and that's where, if you explain it to customers, where I make the most difference. To say, listen, you went to 5 other jewelers, but did everyone ask you, are you looking for a beautiful diamond? Or are you just looking for a piece of paper that has no value?
So what would a diamond industry look like without diamond grading reports?
Oh.
Can you imagine that?
Fabulous.
Better.
Yeah, but then a tremendous amount of trust.
Because a lot of colored stones, still smaller sizes, still get sold without paper.
Yeah,
of course.
Yeah.
So maybe to make it a little less harsh, what we just said here is so the diamond reports are good for people that have no idea about diamonds, because they get a certain information about what the color, the clarity, and if it's natural lab grown. Yeah. So if you have no idea how to differentiate that, then it's a good thing to have a diamond certificate. But, you know, like I just said with the example, if you're just looking for a blue car with 200 horsepower, since the 30-year beat up one that doesn't drive anymore, that won't help you either. So from a personal perspective, the first thing I ask you when I'm looking for a diamond, I say, what's the make?
Yeah.
Yeah. And in the industry, when you ask what's the make, it actually means what's the beauty, what's the cut, and not what the certificate tells you if it's an excellent, a VG, or whatever. Yeah. So that's how we deal with each other when we're like checking the diamond specs. We're going more after the make, after the beauty, than we're actually going after the values and the certificates.
Yeah, because in fancy shapes, for example, you have so many factors that don't come, you know, they don't have anything to do with certification. Like, for instance, on a marquise, does it have a bow tie? On an emerald, is it a black box? You know, these are all things that you can't, it's not something that you can find online. That's something that you, with experience, and that so, and I think the shame about certificates is that it's ruled out a tremendous amount of diamonds. And if you really look at the range of diamonds that come out from the earth is so tremendous, and we've had to kind of put aside a whole bunch of them because they're not FGVS. So I'm not FGVS, you know, no one's perfect. There's so many possibilities when it comes to diamonds, but unfortunately, we're not having that conversation. We're having the lab conversation. Is it IGI? Is it a GIA? But what about imperfect diamonds?
So have you got a market for MSI2 stones, Chris, or does that market exist?
Or MPK1?
Or MPK, yeah.
It used to, yeah, because everyone who would go in the PK2 area would buy lab grown these days. Yeah. So, but I still do MI1s. Yeah, that have a nice, just an inclusion you can hide under a prong, and then if it's face up white, You can tell the customer he's going to save half the money if he goes for a diamond like that, as long as the cut is, of course, ideal. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now we are talking about beauty, and I can see a big marketing for champagne diamonds. So I think with the lab grown that all of them look perfect by look, people is starting to use the other natural diamonds that were not as famous before.
But fantastic, exactly. That's a great example of lab grown turning a little bit, because what are champagne diamonds, which I think De Beers are marketing, right? A lot of the desert rose, and that's a great thing, because champagne is basically brown diamonds, not expensive, and there are so many colored diamonds in natural diamonds that are not expensive. So it opens up again something new.
And the salt and pepper.
Salt and pepper are imperfect diamonds. Yeah. Which is something that no one ever asked for, no one ever wanted, and now people want salt and pepper.
So maybe now to difference background or natural people is going for the imperfect ones, because that cannot be made.
Yeah. So last year when I went to JCK in Vegas, they had a section with lab-grown colored stones, and all the nice ones that looked like musil green, like no inclusions, everything, they were all just laying there. And the people actually bought the ones that looked like I2s and everything like that, because they looked so imperfect when it came to colored gemstones, because the lady who was selling them to the customers, she told me that it looks more real. Yeah, so here you go, then back to the different area to say, if it becomes a little more imperfect, then it's more considered authentic. Yeah.
I think right now people is looking also for personality. I love gemstones, and when I look, for example, at emerald, I want to see something, right?
Something unique, yeah. And by the way, also when you talk about salt and pepper diamonds, for me, that's the real recycled diamond. That's the real green diamond, because you're taking something that no one has ever wanted and you're making something beautiful out of it. So that if you think about, sort of recycling or being ecological, that's what that is. So, yeah, very interesting.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Any other questions, insights? So what's next for the diamond industry? What's your dream?
It's my dream.
I think my dream is conversations and generating profit again in the business. So it's about opening up honest conversation. I hope we can start having conversations again and building trust again with people, as opposed to, being so cut off and isolated as my part of the sector. That's me.
Maybe for me, it's doing cooler things. Yeah, so I had the request for a Dutch marquee cut diamond. Everyone knows what a Dutch marquee is? Yeah, perfect. I didn't know that till the guy requested, and I said, of course I know what that is. And then did a fast search, and I was like, that. So it kind of looks like it's a marquee shape, but it has points instead of that's rounded at the top, if you put it that way. So doing more the funner stuff, the unique stuff, I think that's also maybe where you can focus on to say it's not just the classic round that you can find at big department stores or anything like that, but more the shapes, the colors, fancy colors that you can offer as a high-end small retailer.
But have you seen that, like Taylor Swift's engagement or that something like that would lead to people asking for more fancy shapes, or for antique cuts and old European cuts?
Amazing PR.
Have you seen that in your business?
Absolutely. Yeah. There's a tremendous demand right now for specifically for elongated cushion, old cuts. So really what Taylor Swift got has generated a tremendous amount of buzz. So that's really fantastic. Yeah.
Okay.
Same here. So Taylor Swift got engaged, and we got the next request the next days, basically.
Wow. Crazy. Any other questions, Kyle? Last question? No, otherwise beer, right?
Beer, yeah.
Or there is, two more questions.
2 more questions.
They don't want beer.
I do have a small question. The ethical sourcing certifications, or like the ethical source diamonds, does that influence the pricing on wholesale level as well, or is it mainly retail storytelling?
As far as I know, it is more on the retail side, and it's more involving brands and who require that kind of certification. So, in terms of just general market, it's not really something that I'm so involved in.
It's going to be more work, so it's going to cost more. Yeah, to do the certification, to uphold it, the auditing, third-party involvement, and everything like that. Yeah, you have to pay them, and that will add on to the price if you put it that way.
It's too bad that it wouldn't drain down to the communities who worked for the diamonds, right?
Well, it's just another part of the pipeline. Yeah. So that's how I see it. I don't see it as something bad or that costs more in that sense. It will add on cost, but it doesn't. It would have to be done anyway if you want that certification. Yeah. So it doesn't matter if we do it already in Africa or we do it in Canada. At some point, it has to be done, so it's going to cost a certain amount of money.
But how often in the past year have both of you gotten a request for a Canadian diamond, for example?
Me not.
Well,
0, okay. And you a few times?
A few times. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't say it's like every second diamond, but it does come up. Okay. And I did have this one Canadian ice hockey player, and he was thrilled of the idea. So he was my number one customer for the Canadian diamond.
Yeah, it was really turned this way.
For both, because traceability is something that people is talking about. Like just say that the thing is cost more to the brands. Brands don't pay that. So it's the diamond dealers who has to take that bite
on
in their price and offer. You as in the inside as a diamond dealer, and Chris as a jeweler, and in the B2C. Do you see traceability something important to take in, like for the client is asking, or you offer?
So for me, it's not something that I offer, but if it's something that I would be asked for, I would definitely make sure that I can offer it. But it's not something that I would just spontaneously offer.
I think the question comes up very few times, like where's the diamond from? Which mine is the diamond from? Who cut the diamond? So all these blockchain that offer pictures of who cut the diamond and everything like that are sometimes a little bit overkill at the end of the day. A lot of times, if I actively get asked where's the diamond from, I say, I work with it comes from a big mining company. They have mines in Botswana, Namibia, South Africa, and Canada, for instance, and that's usually a good answer for them. If you're looking for something more specific, Canada mark again here, and then if they really want to go a little more in detail, you can, but that's something that maybe happened in the last 5 years, 10 times or something like that, where you really want to see who cut it, was it sourced, where did it go to, and so on and so on. And sometimes even, I don't want to say it can backfire on you, but like a diamond from Botswana might have a little higher standing than a diamond from Sierra Leone. Yeah, and now we all know that it doesn't, but for the end consumer, it might have a little bit backfall as well. So you always have to, origin is not always something positive in that sense.
Actually, I'm sorry, I might just say that the talk by Felicitas this afternoon, who was the marketing professor, she said that luxury, an integral part of luxury is actually mystery. And when you put too much transparency and too much traceability and too much information, you risk killing luxury.
Correct.
So the diamonds are actually a pretty good example of that.
So if
we all want to be very transparent, but consumers don't necessarily need to know everything. If they ask the question, you can give it to them, but you shouldn't overkill it.
So one good example I always put, because that's one nice point to have to add on, is if you go to a luxury handbag maker, did they show you the picture of the cow where the leather came from? Yeah. If you go to a high-end watch manufacturer, do they show you steel workers of how they're sweating in the factory? No. Yeah. So like I just said, a big part of it is mystery. I think it's good to have the information available, and that we should have internal industry standards to say we can guarantee that everything is clean, green, and whatever you want to call it. But we don't have to, like I said, show the cow to the consumer or show the steel worker for the watch manufacturer or something like that. That's something I think we kind of overshare in our industry, if you put it that way.
It's kind of in line with the question that I still had, is if future diamond consumers were, in your opinion, more driven by emotion or sustainability?
What? Say that again. Sorry.
If the if the future diamond consumers are more driven by emotion, or by sustainability?
Oh God,
Emotion.
I hope it's going to be emotion.
Emotion.
I really hope, but I think, yeah. I think Diamond is all. Look at the guy who came to see you today. Diamond is all emotion. They don't know what they're doing. You know, it's all like you're nervous. You're going to spend the money. You don't know what they want. You know, you're all. It's emotion. It is emotion. That's
So let's put emotion first, sustainability second. Because if I'm already coming in to buy a diamond, then I already have the emotion part. And now I come with the information to say, oh, is what I'm buying good? So that's where it kind of goes hand in hand, but it's not that, I mean, I don't go buy a diamond just because it's sustainable. Yeah, so there has to be a reason. The sustainability makes me feel better, of course, when I buy the diamond.
Thank you. Well, I think we've come to the end of this session. It's 5:45. I believe, I want to thank you both.
Thank you.
And
thank you, Laurent, for being open to it.
Thank
really,
you.
this has been a
we
great...
didn't know what would come, right? So
we
unscripted and unfiltered, literally.
We appreciate the invite. It was fantastic being with you on stage.
Thank you.
Especially Munich being my hometown here. Thank you. And of course, back there for the guys preparing us with the headphones and for the translations. They always do such a wonderful job.
And everyone who showed up.
And everyone who showed up, of course. Yeah, I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks
and
very
now
much.
time for unfiltered beer, right?
And now it's beer time. Thank you, everyone.